Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tejano Traveler. I'm your host Wally, and today we are at Lake Brownwood State Park. The state park is sort of in between the hill country and the Texas Sports Trail. But once I noticed that the dirt was red, I put it in the Texas Sports Trail because they seem to have red dirt as opposed to black dirt. But as you can see, the lake is pretty dead for now. Texas has had some miserable droughts, so part of the lake that people use for recreation is the water's kind of low, and some of the piers and stuff have suffered for it, but it's still worth visiting. You can still do some fishing in some of the areas, just not some of the areas you were used to. So the water level is low, but there are fish, so there are plenty of people fishing there. So don't let it discourage you. Eventually we'll get the rains back and everything will be okay. But all throughout the park you'll see some of these rock couches that the CCC built, which is kind of cool. Plus hiking here, they've got some pretty trails such as this one, and there was a lot of flowers, so I was kind of glad to see all the wildflowers back in business. And here you see the CCC pavilion. Look at that beauty. Look at that stonework. I'm always amazed by their handiwork, and I wish they were still around building things. It's just very classic, very rustic. I immediately recognize the style when I see it, and I wish it was still around. Anyways, once you hit one of the little pavilions, there's a stairway that heads down to where the beach used to be, or water access. It's quite a climb down, so be careful. But you get a view of the lake, and you get to look back and see just how well built these stairs were, and how they've lasted through time. Which is pretty cool because look at where the water level used to be. So there I am trying to get close to the old water level. I should probably take a dip, but no. The water was probably too cold. But the climb back up was kind of nice, just sitting there and observing some of the stonework and realizing I had to climb back up. But it wasn't bad once I started going. Plus there's plenty of flat areas to sort of just walk and not have to worry about your knees. And there's one of those couches again, like I told you. But most of the hike was pretty straightforward. There's more of those couches, rock couches. And eventually you can find one of the old pump houses that is still there. I'm not sure it's still in use. I opened it and there was some pumping equipment, but it just may have been old equipment. Then of course you need to climb back out. But I decided to check out some of the cabins, and some of the cabins here are nice and pretty neat. They're in some awesome areas. Plus the wildflowers are growing everywhere. Look at that cabin. Ocean front views. This one was my favorite cabin, the Lago Vista cabin. I may rent it one of these days. Who knows? And more couches. Stone couches. They were proud of their stone couches here. And there's the lake with its receding water levels. Hopefully we'll get some rains just like California has. And there I am on the bluebonnets. I've always wanted my picture taken in bluebonnets, but nobody's ever taken me up on the offer. And there I am trying to get butterflies to land on me, but they don't like me. Oh well. I'm a beast. Then there's a fishing area, and then there's a swimming area. So this lake is still pretty fun for people. Yes, it's low water level, but like I said, people are still doing their thing. People are still doing their fishing. I myself like these jetties, and I imagine what they would have been like back then when the water level was high. And there's more little pavilions that the CCC built. This one leads to one of the trails, but I want you to see some of that awesome stonework and that fireplace. And then there was this little weird canyon that I had to walk through. Seriously, it was like the world's smallest canyon to get to the trail. I don't know, should I count it? Who knows? Now this trail was a bit more rugged. There were a lot of boulders along the side, but it takes you along the lake. It's a pretty easy hike though, even though there's some sections that go up and down. I didn't feel myself really struggling. Although I did wish I would have brought my walking stick. For some reason I forgot it in the car, and I was kind of dreading it just in case there were rattlesnakes or something that I needed to get out of the way. But there's views of the lake along the trail, which is pretty good. You can see some more of those boulders that are scattered everywhere. Don't forget to hydrate. Always hydrate. I love my hydration backpack. And then once you loop around, you're up on the meadows area of the park, which is pretty cool. You get to walk, see a lot of the wildflowers that are sprouting everywhere. I was kind of glad to see so many at this park. There was at least 7 or 8 different types of wildflowers sprouting everywhere. It added a lot of color and a lot of fragrance. You can definitely smell the spring in the air. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed my trips. I hope you enjoyed my state park visits, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.